1. Okay. I'm gonna give you a little. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bryan Henderson, the maker of the coolest intro to any mod ever made.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome.
All right. So, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How about yourself?
Cool.
I
Not
feel
bad.
15 years older.
Yeah, I definitely feel 15 years older. So yeah, I've got just like a list of questions. I don't remember if I sent that to you ahead of time, or if you saw in the.
Yeah, I think you sent me
OneDrive.
some questions. I kind of glazed over them. I was like, I'll just answer them whenever I get them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you sound nice and clear too, so that's good.
Yeah, it's the headset. It's pretty high quality.
Cool. I'm using my studio mic.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
And so the cool thing about the way I'm recording this with this Riverside site is it records locally for each of us, and then when we're done, it uploads. So it's not recording compressed. Like as high of quality as your camera is, that's as good of the recording as I'll get.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it records any media that I do. So if I do like a drum roll, which I don't know why I would do a drum roll, but it records all those media sounds to their own track too. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the interview questions. And first, why don't you give us your name, your real and screen name?
Name's Bryan Henderson. I think on the cdoom forums I was just B. Henderson.
Right.
Kind of
Have you ever
generic.
had
but
any other fun aliases?
Yeah, over the years I just don't want to say I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Kind
That's
of
fine.
embarrassing.
So there's no real cool story behind B. Henderson because it's just basically it's like you're logging at work or something.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to make a name that was recognizable, like in case like a game developer saw me and is like, oh, okay, well, I know who this guy is.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea because some of the guys had screen names that are so obscure I just can't find them, and I didn't even have their real name. So yeah, that's a good idea. So my next question is, where are you from?
I'm over in Austin, Texas. Been here pretty much my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Kind of boring, but yeah, that's
Austin.
that's where I'm
Austin
from.
doesn't. I bet Austin is more fun than where I live, except it's Texas.
Oh yeah, where are you located?
Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay. I think you mentioned that before. I just didn't remember.
Yeah, it's freaking snowing right now.
Yeah, weather's been a bit weird lately. We've been getting random cold weather or hot weather, like, it's Texas, but it seems to be getting worse lately. We had like a 2-week freeze a year or two ago, and that just pretty much killed everything.
Yeah, you guys aren't prepared for that.
Not at all. Lost power everywhere.
You were living in Texas when we were working on the mod.
Yeah, I had actually moved back in with my mom. I was still trying to figure things out then. Got back into college full time. I was working full time. Interesting time, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how many some of the guys are just spread all over the place, and it's been a little bit of a flashback trying to schedule all these interviews because Guy Brave, he's in Australia, which is 12 hours ahead of me. So,
yeah, it's gonna be weird scheduling that.
Yeah. Like when he told me where he was, I had just gotten home from work and I checked, and it was like 3:30 here, and it was. I don't think it was 12. It was in the morning there, sometime in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know how you'll arrange that. I once had a job interview with the director who was over in Sweden for some odd reason.
Oh.
So I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to talk to him. Needless to say, I didn't get the job.
Oh, that's too bad. Would you have gone to Sweden to work there?
No, he was just he was working out of there at that point in time, and that's all he had time to do was interview me from there. And I was like, okay,
Okay. Well, cool.
yeah, it's a weird situation. But yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting for you to schedule that interview over all the way in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was it Snoop Jedi? He's like just 1 hour ahead, so that wasn't bad. So, what was your background before joining our team?
Yeah, I kind of had an interesting background. I was really interested in game cinematics. I created a bunch of stuff in Quake 2, and I went to some film festivals and stuff. And then later on, I was like, oh, Doom 3 is pretty awesome. I figured that out. And I was like, well, I need to find another project to work on after I did this test film, now that I know how it all fits together. And so that's when I hit up the cdoom team.
Cool. And I mean, I know, but can you tell people what was your primary role on the team?
Yeah, I was the cinematic designer and animator. Pretty much wrote and created the cinematics, but I had a lot of help from you guys as well. Like I think Blaster did some help with the level design. I'm not a very good level designer, and I think you did a lot of the voice work.
Yeah.
Tried to get help from others, but I think you did the highest quality work.
Well, I mean, not as far as acting goes, but as far as sound quality goes, I was probably using this mic too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we had some musicians who stepped in. I think Thump Monk, and I don't think you did any of the cinematic music. I think it was just...
No, that was all Thump Monk. Or Thump Monks.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now, but he was really good. After that, he's like, yeah, I'm done with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's cool.
He's a producer in New York. He does like film and TV shows. Like he's serious. That like he does this stuff full time. Music, composition. Yeah. He and I have never lost touch. And I like if I'm making a song, I always pass it by him every time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's been quite the mentor for me. So, okay, let me see what other questions I've got. Some of these questions I feel like I just want to like throw out and just ask you more about the cinematics that you did. I mean, it was the primary thing that you did. Can you tell people what kind of pains did you have to go through to make these intro cinematics, all the animations?
Oh, man. Where to begin? I basically had to know how everything fit together with the engine, like how all the definition files worked within the maps, and how the entities worked in the maps with the cinematics. I had to use a special script to actually export all the animations over to Doom 3 animation types using a script that someone on the Doom 3 forums had. And actually, I had to modify it a few times to help with the project. But it was really challenging just trying to figure out how it all fit together. Like, for instance, you had like a definition file that defined like an animation that you put in place, and then at certain frames you told it what to do, like play this sound or trigger this entity that's within the map that's like a blood splatter at this coordinate. And then I also had to figure out how to get lip syncing to work, like with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the cinematics, you notice the mouse move perfectly with the sound.
Yeah.
So initially, I tried just listening to the sound file and getting the pronunciation just listening to it like at a tenth of a second at a time and notating that, which was extremely time consuming. And then I found a program called Sappy Lip Sync that I could run the sound file through, and it would show the pronunciations, and that sped it up quite a bit. And then I actually had some kind of program. I coded something in C++. It would convert all that over to something I could use as a reference within the animation files, because it had to be all at 24 frames per second. That part was pretty interesting. Really time consuming.
Yeah. So you uploaded a spreadsheet. Is that kind of the product of that script?
Yeah. That was.
It looked to me like
crazy.
it was time codes and keyframes. Is that kind of accurate? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have all the pronunciations like stored in keyframes in the animation file itself, like in the first 24 keyframes, and I just like copy and paste those wherever they're needed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I am here to 100% defend those animations, because that was a huge undertaking that you had to go through to get those to work, and I've always thought that they're freaking awesome, and they're a little bit campy, and that's fine.
Yeah. So the script itself, I looked at the Doom README file and based it directly off that, but I knew that they were probably aiming for like some kind of campy horror type stuff, kind of like Army of Darkness. Yeah. So it was intentionally like really cheesy. I don't know, with that type of cinematic, you don't want something super serious. It probably, people would be like, I don't know, it'd be cringeworthy, I think. So I think putting some humor into it, especially with the crude animations, that I didn't know a whole lot about animating at the time. I was still learning the ropes, so it wasn't the best, but it got the job done, especially in the short time frame we did this in. It was like 3 months or something crazy like that.
Yeah, actually, when did you come into the team? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was near the end of the development phase, like
that's what I was thinking.
0.9 or something.
Wow.
So everything was pretty much done. Funny story, I actually helped with the gameplay coding as well, helped balance that out.
Okay. Like
the
like
chain gun.
Weapon. Okay.
Yeah, like the chain gun, it had a spin-up time initially, and then I just took that out to make it match the Doom 1 weapons, Doom 1 and 2. So stuff like that. I think I helped balance the AI as well, because they were a little too aggressive at some point.
Oh yeah, they were like insanely accurate. They were snipers from everywhere.
Yeah. Those shotgun guys especially.
Yeah.
I just played the mod about 15 minutes ago, and man, those guys hit hard.
Yeah.
I was like, man, good thing we balanced that out.
When I was talking to Snoop Jedi, I keep wanting to say Snoop Dogg. When I was talking with Snoop Jedi, I mentioned that it's funny that I don't think any of us even considered taking out the whiplash, that the player experiences when they get hit. And I never once thought about it, because it was just what Doom 3 did. If an enemy came up and swiped at you, your head flashed back and it went all red. It might
have been standard with the first-person shooters back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was
hit reaction.
Yeah, it was kind of becoming that way. But I personally now I feel I wish we would have taken that out, because it makes it so you can't shoot, and I just constantly run backwards anytime there's monsters around. I want to feel more badass.
Well, we've got Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal now, so you could do all that and then some.
Right. And yeah, you definitely feel like a badass in 2016. I haven't played the Doom Eternal.
Yeah, it's a lot more complex. There's a lot more to it, a lot more systems. It's more like I feel like it's like Bayonetta mixed with a first-person shooter. It's just like so many combo systems and a lot of weapon switching. It's just a different game entirely.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to look through my questions again. So you were probably working on the mod for about 3 months, you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. It's hard to... It felt like forever, but maybe it was just a short amount of time.
Yeah, I remember, because I worked on the music for probably... I remember working on the cinematic voice acting for like 3 months. Because I think I was done with all of the music by August, and then I switched completely over to the intro cinematic and the outro. I guess I did a little bit for that. I recorded myself saying the text that was on the screen, and someone lowered it. I don't know if you lowered it because I didn't. I sounded
It wasn't me. I disagreed with that completely.
Yeah. Well, I would have sounded cooler now. As I got older, my voice got lower.
Yeah, I just liked how when you did it initially is just like, just some guy talking about it matter-of-factly, and then someone lowered it, and I don't know, it was like, why?
Yeah. To make me sound like a demon,
it took some of the humor
guess?
out of it. Yeah, it took a lot of the humor out of it, and it's just something I was going for.
I'm going to blame Deadite. I just blame him for everything. Because I can't find him, so he just gets the blame for everything.
Yeah, why not?
Actually, he kind of got upset with me. He kind of took some things personally, like when he had initially recorded some of the voice work with some of his friends for the intro. And in the deleted scene that you actually sent me where the sergeant is yelling at the doom guy to fire on the rioting soldiers, you can hear, like, the mic is completely clipping. It didn't matter if his friend was a good voice actor or not. Like, the audio was just not well recorded. So when I went to re-record some of that stuff, he got really upset. And I kept some of his stuff in. I was just trying to make a good product.
Yeah, some people get attached to the work they do. It's understandable.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
But yeah,
did you ever hear my...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I think it was... I don't remember whose decision it was to cut out the sergeant section. But he said, this is just like a real movie. We're cutting stuff out, tightening it up. I remember that part.
I said that?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember saying that, but man, there's so much I don't remember.
Well, yeah, it's been 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, we tightened things up, and watching it now, we could probably tighten it up a little bit more. But like we were just talking earlier, it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah, I actually tried going back at one point in time to clean up the animations, and by then it had been several years, and I had improved so much that I was like, "There's no way I could clean this up. I'd have to redo them completely."
Yeah.
So yeah.
I bet now, if we were to do it, we'd get some kind of cheap mocap system, and you'd have like no problem.
Oh yeah, especially with like VR and stuff, they could track, all that stuff. I don't know,
but none of that was available.
Mocap.
Yeah, none of that was available.
I looked into it a lot, quite often back then, because it was a pain animating everything.
Yeah, I can't.
That would take like 30 seconds.
Yeah, right, exactly. What do you remember most about working on the project?
That's a really good question. It's all kind of a blur at this point. I was looking back at my old project files. Yeah, I don't know. It's all a blur. I don't remember anything in specific. I guess maybe all the animations, just how much of a pain they were to do.
Yeah.
Oh, the lip syncing, that was also a pain. Just a lot of the stuff that was time consuming, which now probably wouldn't be.
So you were a fan of the mod first, right?
Yeah. I've been a huge Doom fan since the beginning. So
Yeah,
it was only natural that I go to the mod that remakes the classic.
yeah, yeah. Like I, I think I first played. It must have been the point .2 alpha that the guys released, and I just loved it. And I went right to the forums, and I was like, "Hey, if you guys need a musician," and at that point, Gaz was definitely looking for people, so they invited me on.
Yeah, I don't remember how I joined. I might have emailed Gaz or something. I just don't remember.
I just remember suddenly here you were, and then we were working together, and I remember getting along really well.
Yeah, when I originally pitched the cinematic, I do recall a lot of the team members were like, "This is a lot of animation. Are you sure you could do this?" I was like, "Yeah, I could do it." They're like, "This is gonna be a lot of custom animation." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I could do it."
Yeah, yeah, you pulled it off, man.
I
And
just can't
you
believe
know
I
what?
did in a short amount of time.
You know what my favorite part of all your animations is? Is it the imp riding the pinky?
Oh yeah. I don't even know how I came up with that, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I didn't even notice it the first few times I watched it, and then one of the guys on our forum in the developer forum said something like, "Is that an imp riding on the pinky's back?" And you came in there and you were like, "Yeah, I even named the animation like Pinky Piggyback or something like that."
I'll have to find that. All the animation files are in there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you had a lot of stuff to upload to OneDrive.
Yeah, I had all my. Are you still there? It looks like you froze.
I am still
Or
here.
did I freeze?
You're kind of frozen.
Okay.
But no, you look okay. Do you still hear me?
Oh. Yeah, it says your video has been disabled.
Oh, weird.
Uh,
Can you hear me though?
but your video is still recorded. Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay, weird.
Yeah. Okay.
So you
what
just
was your
don't see me
question?
right now? You don't see me?
No, not at all.
Oh, well,
Says
shoot.
you're-
Okay. Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah, it's still recording on your side. It says.
Weird. It says 99% uploaded, but I don't know why it would be uploaded. If maybe it breaks it up into like 20-minute chunks.
Huh. I don't know.
Okay.
I can still answer your question though.
Let me try turning my camera off
Ask
quick.
again.
Disable cam. Enable cam. No idea. I don't remember what I asked now.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows you there. You're frozen though.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, shoot.
Maybe it'll come back.
I could try stopping recording and starting again, but I don't. This is literally my first time using this, so I don't know a whole lot about how do you fix things like that right now.
I don't know.
Okay, well we'll
just keep
we'll
going.
just go on.
It's fine.
We'll be able to see everyone in the recordings. So yeah, I don't remember the last question I asked or where I was going. So
I don't remember.
I mentioned the piggyback ride of the imp.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm just looking over my questions here. God, there are other things that I should have written down some questions. This is what I get for doing this midday on a work day. What projects have you worked on? I know you had one sort of big one. What projects have you worked on since the Classic Doom 3 mod ended?
So yeah, after I did that, I did a mod called Zombie Slayer. It's basically like Dragon's Lair but with zombies. It's all done in the Doom 3 engine. It's just one big cinematic. It's like 20 minutes long, but it's basically quick time events, which I know a lot of people hate, but it had like a health system and everything. It's really cool. I worked on it for about 2 years. It was really polished. I learned quite a bit about animation and cinematics. And let's see, yeah, that was 2009. That was done, and then after that, I tried getting a job in the game industry. That didn't work out, and I tried making a couple of indie games. Didn't really pan out. I was actually kind of far along into an adventure game I was working on in Unreal Engine 4. I finished the intro cinematic, and I was starting to code up the gameplay for the first section, and it was really tedious work. Their interface is kind of Flash-based. It's kind of interesting, but for every interactive object, I'd have to script up certain things, and I was in the middle of scripting one item, and I was like, man, this is going to take at least maybe 2 or 3 years to finish this project. And there's so much indie stuff out there at the moment, and I was like, I can't really compete with all these other teams that have, you know, a full studio and they can animate and model anything they want.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm gonna have to call it quits with this whole game dev dream. Move on to other stuff. And at the time, I was really interested in art. Because part of the idea for the adventure game was just to do it all in 2D, traditional 2D. So I was learning about drawing and perspective and all that stuff. So I made the switch just to doing illustration after that, and I've been painting ever since, collecting art.
That's cool.
I have a big painting behind me. I have it covered up right now just because it would be so distracting.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I just I gave up the dream. As we're discussing before this call, if I would be working in the game industry now, being a cinematic designer like I originally planned, I would be making less than what I made working for the state like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad nothing ever panned out, but it was fun at the time doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that I enjoyed most about doing our mod was being able to interact with the fans, you know, directly about what we were building on a day-to-day basis. You know, and we were just an open book. We had our developer forum, but then we would jump over to the public forum and answer people's questions, and I loved that interaction. And the thing is, if you go to a real game studio, that's cut off. Like, you don't get to talk about the game you're developing at all. You will get fired. You could get sued. Like, that to me, when I realized that, the joy for me kind of dissipated. Like, I don't want to just be a name in the end credits that no one remembers. You know?
Yeah, and no matter how much or little you contribute, it'll all be the same.
Yeah.
No one will notice. Now, unless they check the credits. I've got a friend who went into game development as an artist, and I'll play some of the games I know he worked on, and at the very end I'll see his name in the credits, and it'll be something minor like doing what was it? Like the icon graphics or something like that, and I'll be like,
oh yeah.
I don't know if I'd want that glory or not. At the end of the day, like, if you get into game dev, it's just another job. Whether you enjoy it or not, or if it pays enough, that's another story. But not for me. I'm glad I didn't go for it.
Yeah, my job is nothing like game development. Not even close. I mean, sort of in some ways. Like, I work on. I don't program, but I sometimes help my team build programs for end users, but that's like as close as it comes. No, nothing else. So
yeah.
God, yeah, there were things when you were just talking that I was thinking about, but that's okay. You're the interviewee. I'm the interviewer. I shouldn't be talking so much, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, I think what I was talking about, pretty much all of us went through that same thought process.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get into game development really bad. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. And I was already, I think I figured out I was 27 when I joined the team. So I was a little older than most of the guys, and I already had career. You know, I had already been at a job since I was 18 at the same company. It was like 9 years. So I was kind of looking to get into something that would be sort of a shift, like totally different path. And for a while, I really wanted it. Like, the reason I got into the Classic Doom 3 team was because I was making levels for people's Quake 3 maps. And, like, hanging out on the Quake 3 forums. And just offering up my services as much as I could. And I got to a point where I was making a song a week. And it was those songs that Gaz went and found and listened to that's the reason he accepted me into the team. So there was a while where I really, really wanted it, but I wasn't willing to move for some reason. Like, I was born in Wisconsin. This is where I live. Why would I move? And there's a studio not far from here. They did Quake 4. It's Raven Software. You know, they do a lot of games with its software. And I have a friend who is a level designer there, and it wasn't long after we released cdoom that he invited me there for an open house. And he showed me Quake 4, which wasn't done yet, and I had to sign an NDA. And so I was playing it, and what I played I thought was really cool. Like, you could use a flashlight at the same time as a gun. Like, who would have thought? and I liked the pacing of it. And so I got home, and I went into an online forum, and I said, like, I posted that I played the game and it was good. And people started asking questions, like specifics, and I was like, no, I can't say anything about it. All I can say that it was good and I played it. My God, that caused quite the stir at Raven. They were really pissed at me. And
I guess you couldn't say they even played it.
And I didn't realize that. Like, my friend said you can't say anything about it. Okay, well, I didn't.
Well, yeah, about it.
So, but yeah, they were like, you shouldn't have even been saying that you played it. And then, you know, to me, that just kind of killed my spirit, because you can't even have that level of, there is zero you can say about a game that's in development. And that definitely killed my spirit. And then when the game came out and it was a total flop and no one liked it, I was like, well,
yeah,
I was trying to do you a favor telling people it was good.
I guess they didn't want people doing that.
Yeah. Anyway, what else? You actually already answered one of the questions on my thing. But let me ask one final question, and I don't think we need to make this any longer. What do you think the legacy of Classic Doom 3 is?
Legacy, like how people remember it, or will remember it?
The people who were paying attention at the time, who loved the mod, what do you think the legacy is? If there is one.
At the time after the mod came out, like, everyone I knew who was into gaming knew about it and loved it. So I think people have a lot of strong nostalgia for it. I checked back YouTube comments for the mod, and people are still talking about it even to this day.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I think people have a lot of strong connections with it. Something they think back on and they're like, oh man, maybe I should fire that up again. Kind of like how we did with the original Doom back when we were making this very mod. We're like, oh, this is so awesome. I still go back to it every once in a while.
The mod or the original game?
The original. Mod, not as much. I kind of burned myself out on it, developing it.
Yeah.
Because I was also helping with the balance of the gameplay at the same time and played through it so many times.
Well, cool. Well, Bryan, it was really good to talk with you finally. Feels like we've known each other forever.
I'm a quick interviewer, I guess.
Yeah, I think Gaz and I, we weren't even interviewing. It was just a conversation, and we talked for almost 2 hours. And with Snoop, same thing.
Oh, wow.
Those guys are very talkative.
Yeah, I'm not very talkative, I guess. The intro.
You hear that, right? I've never used these effects.
Yeah, it's burned into my brain.
Oh yeah.
Or this is the end Cinemac, isn't it?
It's the menu.
I guess,
just the theme song. We used it all over the place.
Yeah. I think we used it on the end Cinemac as well.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was talking with Snoop, he said that it's burned into his brain because he was working on the menu specifically, and every time he went into the menu, he just heard this song.
Yeah, I remember the end Cinemac whenever you play when I hear that song. So I worked on it so often, that was playing all the time when I tested out.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we can end this. This was awesome. Thanks for talking. Don't forget to leave your browser open, because when I hit stop, it has to upload.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
All right. I'm gonna hit stop.
All right.